looks like tuna. What's up, fellow Sambarians? So I've been kind of wanting to get to a little project on Goober Chan here for a couple weeks now. It's been busy and trying to figure out how I'm gonna do it and if I can do it and all that kind of stuff, because unless you're just some grumpy curmudgeon and don't want to modify your Sambar, I think we're all looking for a way to make them all look a little bit different. You know, I've lowered mine, we've done exhausts, we put catch cans on, we've tint windows, we put different wheels on them, but the van actually had a factory option at one point for a wing, and so you can't get the 5th generation wings anymore, but the 6th generation, which is the newer Sambars. So if you're unfamiliar with generations and Sambars, I'm not 100% sure. I think it's 1999 and up is the 6th generation. So this is a 5th generation, which is a 98 and below, which, I mean, this is a 97. So the van's kind of changed shape a little bit, and I'll tell you why in a second. So I wanted to get a wing, and I thought, hey, maybe, I mean, the 6th gen and the 5th gens look very similar in shapes. You know, maybe the wings fit. So I'll find a wing for a 6th gen and see if it fits. And if it doesn't fit, we'll just modify it. I mean, I got the wing for really cheap, so, you know, it's worth giving it a try. I'm not sure if anybody else has done this in the United States, so maybe this will be the first one that's been modified to fit the van, which would be totally awesome. So you guys are seeing something here for the first time, so feel special. I don't know what that was about, but so here's the wing. This is the 6th gen. So the 5th gen looks way different than the 6th gen. The 5th gen looks kind of like a duck bill or something, if you will. This one actually looks like a straight up wing. It's got a brake light in it. I think it's way sicker looking than the 5th gen, but just to have a 5th gen wing in itself is pretty awesome because they're really hard to come by. I think I've never seen them pop up on auctions. I've only seen the 6th gen. So this 6th gen is a little scratched up, but that's totally fine because we're gonna wrap it and make it look brand new anyways, just like we wrap everything else, or paint, whatever you're into. I personally like wrapping. I think it's better and cheaper, and if you get tired of it, you can change it, and it's not a pain in the butt. But again, it's all what you're into. So this thing has the wiring for the 3rd, or actually it's gonna be the 4th brake light because we've already got a 3rd brake light. But that's another thing. 5th gen doesn't have a brake light in the wing, so that's gonna be sick in itself that we have a 4th brake light. And I'm gonna try wiring that up as well. But as you can see, it's slightly too long. So what I'm gonna do, so if this doesn't work out, this is never gonna hit the internet. But I'm just filming this preemptively that it is gonna work because we want it to work. And so I'm just gonna kind of show you the process. So if it does work, frick yeah, I'll probably buy some more, and then I know how to modify them and try to sell them in the OK Garage Parts Store. But what I'm going to do is just hack out, I think it's like a couple inches too long, so I'm going to hack out an inch section on each side in the flat part where it's pretty straight, and then I have a plastic repair gun, so we're going to repair it, and then you know, smooth it out, put epoxy on it or something, and then once we wrap it, you're not even going to know the difference. So that's kind of my plan. As far as mounting it up goes, we're obviously going to have to put a couple holes in it because you got your studs right here. So we're going to have to pop a hole in the body to get this to mount, and then I'll probably do some 3M sticky tape all around it. I mean, this thing weighs like, it weighs like 2 pounds. I mean, this thing is so light. So we're not hitting Mach speeds, so I don't think it's going to blow off if we're using sticky tape and a couple bolts. It should be totally fine. Famous last words. But yeah, so this is the wing. It looks way different than your 5th gen Sambar Diaz wing. I think it looks super dope. So we're gonna make it work, and I think, again, like I said, this might be the first time someone has done this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we're gonna do this and hopefully kind of change the game on the wings for the Sambar vans. But then again, we're gonna be able to start importing 6th gen Sambars next year anyways, so this might be obsolete because we're just gonna be able to mount them right up to the 6th gen van anyways. So there's your little history lesson on generations on vans. And yeah, let's go ahead and start measure. I'm gonna start measuring stuff up and carefully cut out sections, and we're gonna try to get her to fit. Cool. So first off, I'm going to try to get one of these studs out so we can make sure this thing's gonna line up with the body line, because it's really hard to tell with the stud in there. So I'm gonna try heating it up and see if we can pull it out, and then when we're ready to stick the stud back in, then we can just thread it back in. Bingo. It smells like tuna. That stinks. Okay, so we have that pulled out. Man, let's see. That'll be interesting trying to get that sucker back in there. So it's just kind of in there with the, oh, that thing's hot. Like a square. Burn my fingers. Alright, let's see if she lines up with the body line, hopefully. Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're just about 2.5 inches too long. So what that means is I'm going to take 1 1/4 on either side of the light, and the reason I'm not just going to chop out a section on one side is because we want to still keep this light in the center. So I'll do 1 1/4, 1 1/4, plastic weld, repair it back together, and then we'll stick it back up there. It's not like a perfect body line, doesn't follow the body line exactly perfect, but you're not really going to notice it's not following the body line unless you're standing up underneath it and looking up. Kind of has a small gap, but again, we're just gonna make it work because ain't nobody else doing this, and I think it is gonna look pretty sick in the end from 10 feet away. But yeah, I'm gonna cut out some sections of it now. Completely hollow inside, so this sucker is lightweight. Kind of just melted the plastic back to itself when I was cutting it, but cool. Got that shaved off. I will clean that up with a grinder. It literally just melted the plastic back. This is the first time I've tried doing something like this, so I have no idea what's going to happen. So yeah, that's going to require. Now what I was trying to do was avoid cutting this wire, and it looks like there's a plug in there, but I don't know how to get in there to unplug it is the problem. Oh, I can probably take this grommet out and slide the plug out. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So I was trying to avoid cutting the wire inside there, and I couldn't figure out how to get it out, but I just got to pull the grommet out and then pull the wiring through. Voila. Okay, cool. I was worried about cutting that. Not anymore. So now we need to, so what I'm going to do is then cut, so the closer we get to this middle section, the straighter it is. So I'm going to cut close to here, and then that way when we put it back, put it back together, it's not going to be like sitting like this, because it's going to be a different length, or a different width, I should say. So I'm going to then cut a flat section off right here and do it to the other side, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so she's cut, held together with blue tape right now. Obviously I didn't want to cut too much in the beginning, so I'm trying to center up over my third brake light, and we are just slightly too long on either side. Slightly too long. That's okay. I'd rather taking off not enough than too much. So I'm gonna take from this, the outer one, probably take maybe like 1/4 of an inch on either side. Put it back together and see kind of what we're getting. And just to kind of give you guys a better idea, because you're probably thinking, what the heck is it gonna look like? Since it's pretty close, we're gonna have that downforce back here to hold this thing to the ground, because we're going too fast. Hi, patitos. So yeah, just a little bit more, and I think we're getting pretty close. Thank goodness it's hollow ABS and super easy. Don't worry, guys, we'll get it. I know what you're thinking. Kevin, you're crazy. You're cutting up a perfectly good 6th gen wing. I know, bruh. We're gonna make it sick. Yeah, even if it's not perfect, it's gonna be better than nothing. I'm telling you, we can smooth it out and wrap it, and it's gonna look good from 10 feet away. And that's all we're looking for, is that 10 foot. Oh yeah, I cut that side way farther in. Okay, so we'll take a little bit more on this side. Really struggling out there right now. Let's see if we get that thing centered. We're still a little bit a little too long. I'm gonna fade this out. Let you guys go take a snack break. Well, I think I blew up my air compressor. Let's go. It's making a weird noise. Came out here. And looks like it had a bit of an explosion in the corner. It stinks. So yeah, don't buy a Husky air compressor. Those things suck. I don't know if it's got some kind of warranty on it, but I think one of the fins blasted off on it and it ain't working no more. So now I gotta get another air compressor. Boyitos. So we are getting extremely close. I just kind of have it taped up there for right now. This side's good, lines up. We're pretty centered, but we're just hanging off on this side now. Like a good half an inch. So I'm going to, well, probably gonna lose it, but let's see if we can get a good back picture. We're getting there. We're real close. Shaving off a little bit at a time. You just saw my air compressor took a dump, so I gotta figure out something different here. But man, that is gonna be sick. Well, I think I might have gotten it. So we are I measured, we're doing pretty well. Come back here, take a look. Let's do fisheye. Nope. There we do. There we do. Fisheye. You can see it a lot better now. So we're good with body lines. I did notice up inside here, we have a little bit more gap than we do over here. So I'm going to, I don't have jaundice, I don't know, I think I got rust, and I don't have extra long fingers, it's fisheye. I'm just gonna shave this one down a little bit to give it a little bit of an angle, and then that will suck this in a little bit and suck this in a little bit, which should clear up that gap. But I mean, we're pretty centered with the light. Man, freaking, I am so stoked. So once we get that all squared up, I will use my plastic repair tool, which you've probably seen on TikTok or something. Shows the little like paper clips that melt in the plastic, because this is ABS, so it's perfect, because I was afraid it was fiberglass and I was gonna have to do repair, and I have no idea how to do that. But we're just gonna do the little plastic repairs all the way around. Probably get some kind of Bondo or epoxy, fill in, sand it smooth, and then wrap it. And what I think I'm gonna do is either wrap it in red to match the valve cover, and then do the front lip up here in red, which I've seen a guy's, and then wrap that thing in red. So the front and rear little wings are red, and this guy in our group, his Diaz, has a red wing and a red lip, and it looks really cool. But yeah, I'm freaking stoked. Okay, so I am super pumped that this is working and everything is lining up. I have everything just kind of taped right now in place, because this is the angle, the height, and everything that I want it to be sitting at. Measuring all the gaps on the body lines. Just kind of doing some eyeballing, because now we're going to, I don't know if you've seen these pop up recently on like TikTok and stuff, but thank goodness they have popped up on TikTok. It's weird, the camera's showing something funky. Plastic welders welding gun. I had never even heard or seen these up until maybe a month ago when they started popping up on social media. But I got one off of Amazon for like, I think 29 bucks. And I mean, dude, this thing came with so many things. A sick razor blade, a sick pair of dikes. Sorry, not dikes, that's not correct anymore. Some snips. But what I'm going to do is weld it or do the thingy while it's sitting up here on the car, so I don't take it down and put it together and then it's not lining up how it should. So as long as it's sitting right here, I'll weld it all up. And then there is some slight gaps in areas, so I'm gonna get like a plastic JB weld or some kind of plastic Bondo or something. Fill in the cracks, and then sand it smooth, and then that's when I'm gonna wrap it. But for purposes right now, just for repairing it like this, we're gonna use the plastic weld gun. So if you're gonna do something like this on yours, you're gonna need to pick one of these guys up on Amazon. Plastic weld gun. I'm not entirely sure how it works, so we're gonna find out how it works together. So let's give it a whirl. And that was another thing. I was like, oh man, that'd be a bummer if it was fiberglass, because I don't think this would work on a fiberglass. But I took the light off. I mean, typically parts are ABS plastic anyways, but I took the brake light out, and underneath it's made in Japan ABS, so golden. So I'm just gonna give it one more once over. So what I'm doing is measuring from the bottom down to the body line. Right. And I'm getting 5 inches. 5 inches. The gap I'm getting from the edge of the wing to the cab part, the body, not the edge of the door, is about 1 inch. That's like a little bit longer over here. But as long as we're sitting the same height, I don't think you're going to notice 1/8 of an inch from side to side. And it follows the body lines. So yeah, I think that kind of is what it is. I mean, this thing, you're not going to notice if you're 5 feet away from this thing. I just went from a 5-foot wing instead of a 10-foot wing. So yeah, let's give the weld gun a let's give the welding gun a try and see what happens. Just don't go repairing fan blades. Or actually, you can repair a fan blade. Man, you can fix anything with this thing. Let's find out what happens, I guess. I think it's supposed to like glow red. Oh, smoking. Let's get you guys up in there. So for those who've never seen one of these work before, it's actually really kind of cool. Let's see if I can do this. So I let it heat up. gonna slowly push it into the plastic. It's kind of satisfying a little bit. Sorry. And there you go. Plastic hardens up like stitches. So you can see I got a gap here, but that's totally fine. We're gonna repair that. This is all gonna get sanded and smoothed down anyways. And once it's wrapped, you won't even be able to tell, you know, a whole heck of a lot of difference. I mean, the body lines, there's a little bit of a droop, but that's okay. Once we, I mean, it's very, very minimal. But once we do like a plastic repair on that and sand it and smooth it, that should straighten that all back up again. So it seems to be working. I just started thinking, I used to have weekends. I used to have weekends where I'd go do stuff. Now I'm stuck in here working on this goddamn sandbar. Who am I kidding? I love working on my sandbar. So we got the welded bottom, and we're gonna weld the top. What's up, guys? I feel like I haven't seen you in a minute, so I thought I would give an update. Besides the fact that I'm freezing and this heater barely keeping up with me turning to a popsicle. But one side is done. It actually looks pretty sick just with the little plastic welds in there. But all the way around. So that one's prepped and ready to go. And now we are started on the other side. I mean, that looks pretty cool, not gonna lie. But yeah, so if you're planning on doing this, like I said, it's better just to leave it mounted up on, well, taped up on your van, because like I was pointing out, it didn't really exactly line up to how I cut it, and this is allowing it to fit. I mean, let's see. I mean, look at the body line. Follows the body line of the van. It's I mean, for never doing anything like this before, I'd say that's pretty good. And that's another thing. I've never done anything like this before. So if I can do it, I feel like a lot of people can do it, because I very much lack the skills of body work. But look at that body line. Pretty solid. So super stoked on how it's coming out. But I'm gonna keep doing the little welds, and then once that's done, we're gonna take off the little Hellraiser pins and do the epoxy weld in the crack, and then sand it smooth. Okay, so I got all the plastic weld pin thingies ground down. I just use an angle grinder. Like I think I said before, my air compressor took a dump, so I was just using this guy to kind of grind down the little stubbies that were poking out from the welder. So I have those all down. Now I'm gonna take like some kind of like a Bondo, plastic Bondo, or some kind of something, epoxy of some sort, fill in the crack, and then sand it down with a normal sander. Oh, like doing body work kind of stuff. Like I don't even know, you know, if you like 1,000 grit or something. Like I said, I've never done body work before, so we're just kind of going with it. So ground all those guys down with the angle grinder, smooth. And we'll kind of try to touch up this guy and just make it smooth. And yeah, right now I just have it sitting up there with those magnets. But gosh dang, that looks really, really cool. Oh yeah. So I think I'm gonna take a break from tonight and kind of regroup tomorrow and figure out how we're gonna do the finishing before we wrap it and all that stuff. So we'll be back again mañana. Okay, day 2. So what I'm trying to do now is figure out where I'm going to drill holes into the body. I have tape set up here to kind of line up where these edges go. I'm using some wrapping magnets to hold it up because I mean this thing's super light, so it's holding it up just fine. Perfect for mocking it up. But I need to get these holes in here drilled. So what I did was I put a bolt in it and I put some tape right here, and it should be in that general area of where this bolt is. So what I'm gonna do is kind of push it down and see if I can kind of scratch the tape a little bit, and that's gonna give me an area of where I need to drill a hole. And I'll drill it, you know, a little bigger than the thread, the bolt size, and then just use a washer, use like a rubber wash, some kind of rubber plastic washer inside or something, so it will allow me to move it around a little bit to get it where I want it to be. So it should be close enough. And then obviously we'll silicone the hole so no water gets in.
Doing push-ups.
Let's see if that worked. Oh yeah, perfect. Oh. Bingo. Okay, cool. So now I have my marks. I don't know. Actually, I think I did show a video last night. I got the third brake light fourth brake light ran through it last night. Worked out perfect. Yep, okay, so let me I'll show you what I'm seeing. So here's where one hole is gonna go. I'm gonna drill a hole right here. You can kind of see where the bolt kind of squished the tape. And then the other one squished it right there. So we're gonna put a hole here. We're gonna put a hole here. I don't think chickens like the cold either. I those. Okay, so I have my holes marked. There's a little starfish here. So if I take my caliper distance on that, this is lining up pretty good. That too is lining up pretty good. So I mean these were pretty centered as far as distance from the edge to here. Let's just double check. So that's edge to paint mark, edge to thing. That 2 is edge to mark there, so we are centered. So then these just needed to be at the correct angle up. So I think we're good. So I'm gonna pop a couple holes right there, and we're gonna cross our fingers and hope we get it first try. I mean, not like you're gonna see the holes when it's covered with the spoiler, the wing, but the less holes I gotta worry about, the better. So we're gonna start drilling now. National Geographic break. So this girl we call Queen Latifah because she's big and sassy. Hopefully that doesn't get me in trouble. She's been losing feathers, and we thought, oh man, she's getting old, and you know, maybe her time is on this planet is coming to an end. Well, what's happening is you can see where the feathers are missing. Those are new shafts or whatever. I don't know what they're called. Quills. New feathers coming in. So her old feathers were falling out, and since we lost the chicken the other day, we thought maybe she got in a tussle with whatever it was, so you can really see it. And we thought her feathers got ripped out. Well, they're falling out, and all these new feathers are coming in. So she's gonna have pretty new feathers. Not that you guys needed to know any of that information, but if you see a scraggly looking chicken like that, they're perfectly fine. They're just molting, and all those new little feathers are popping out. So Queen Latifah is gonna look real pretty. This girl right here, she's Bob Marley. She's super chill, so we call her Bob Marley. This here is Blackie. She's kind of a sassy one. This one is, I think we call her Gimli, because she's red, like Gimli in Lord of the Rings. And this one is Scraggle Puff, because she's pretty scraggly. Her feathers just kind of never really came out, so she's Scraggle Puff. And unfortunately, the one that we lost, she was Waldina, like Waldo, so we called her Waldina because she would always disappear, and we'd have to be like, where's Waldo? So yeah, a little segment on my partial bird family. Okay, so I'm gonna go with a 11/32 drill bit, which in millimeters, it's about about 8.5, 9 millimeters, and then that's gonna give us a little bit of wiggle room for this bolt. So if we miss it a little bit, and then if we need to go bigger, we can kind of space out the hole a little bit. But I think this is gonna be a good size, and then we can get a good like a washer or something behind it, and then we'll seal it with like a silicone. Okay, oh man, that was stressful. So I got the 2 holes drilled up here for each side. And actually there is a grommet inside that I'm gonna, an existing grommet hole inside here. So that's what we're gonna use to be able to feed. You can't really see it, but we can get a nut on that one stud. And then I have a hole saw, a 7/8 hole saw, I think it was. It had to go through a couple layers, so it really put some wear on that hole saw. But I pried this back because I couldn't exactly get it full cut, so I'll just bend this tab back, and then I'm gonna put like a piece of vinyl over this to seal the hole. But there's our hole to be able to get the bottom stud or the bottom nut on both sides. And what I went and got, here's my JB Weld plastic bonder, so that's what I'm going to use to fill in and fix these cracks. Some 3M double-sided tape, and then I got some rubber washers, which might not be big enough now. That one's okay. It's gonna be, I'm gonna use a nice size washer for the upper one. That's gonna be good there, so when it tightens up to it, it will create like a seal. But I'm still gonna use some kind of like a gasket sealer or something to keep water from dripping down inside my inside the hatch. So she's on, still lined up pretty good. So I'm gonna put the bolts through on the other side and see what she looks like. All right, my dudes, it's on there. Pretty solid. That is the plastic repair. It's drying. So maybe I'll do a video finishing it, like finishing this as far as wrapping or something. But I mean, the mounting part, that was pretty much the mounting and cutting it was pretty much the hardest part. I wouldn't say it's perfect. It's far from being a perfect fit. There's a little gap. There's a little gap there, but that's okay. I have some weather stripping, 1/4 inch wide, 1/8 inch thick weather stripping that I will put on the little ridge line in there. There's a ridge line that goes all the way around. I'm gonna just line that so then we have a tight seal around it. Let's see, and then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take, so there's a green, solid green, and then there's a green and black wire. The green and black wire is the power for the third brake light. So I'm going to tap into that and then put that grommet back, and then that will have our fourth brake light wired up and good to go. I tested it last night on a little drill battery, and the thing's super bright and works great. All the LEDs are still working. So what I'm gonna do is, since I hole sawed here and here, I'm gonna push the little circle back in there that couldn't fully cut because it's at a weird angle, and it's not a big deal. I'm just gonna push it back in there, and there's a hole right there, so if I ever need to take the wing off again, I can just pry that open, and I'm gonna cover it with a piece of vinyl, so you won't really see it, and it'll be sealed. Vinyl will obviously seal it watertight. And I'm trying to think. I got 3M body molding sticky tape, double-sided sticky tape, but the gap is, I mean, I'm no body guy, so if you do body shop stuff, you could probably get it to fit better as far as following the body curves go, the body lines. But so it's not really gonna make it. It's not gonna do anything because it's not really touching the body. I mean, this thing is solid. It's held in with those 2 screws. And that weather stripping I'll put around it, and that'll clear up that gap in there and give it a little cushion against the metal. Alright, let's see if we have a fourth brake light. We're a little crooked, I gotta realign it. But that's okay, we're just testing it right now. So, I'm gonna go hit my brake. And then I'm gonna have to turn you guys off so I can check to see if we got that brake light. Alright. Don't think I saw it. And I was wrong. It did work. We're good. So, how I did it was I kept the factory clip so I can unclip it, and then I can take the wing off and not have to cut wires every time I want to take the wing off, because I'm gonna have to take the wing off again to finish it, like wrap it, sand it, wrap it. But we're mounted up and we're good. We're good to go, man. So this was a good 2-day project. I'm happy with it. It's no one else has got it, at least around here, so that's super exciting. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for following along. If you want to get yourself and do something like this, I got this wing off Yahoo Auctions using 500 yen shop and bid on it, got it, shipped over here, bam, wham bam, thank you ma'am. So like I said, I'm gonna finish it in another day. This way I could just get this video uploaded showing that this is how you mount it up, this is the process. It's a lot of work. I mean, 2 solid days of working on it, but totally worth it if you want to make that van a little more unique than she already is. But cool. Thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy.